Hey everyone, it's RJ, and welcome back to the Find Your Flow channel. This is the place where we talk about going after your dream goals, finding that peak state of flow, and living your life with more purpose and meaning. And if you click this video, you're probably not completely satisfied with your work life. If that doesn't describe you, and there's nothing you can do to get more satisfaction out of your work, then you can skip this video and I'll talk to you again soon in another video. But if you're sticking around for this, what I'm going to share with you today is a clip from Peak Performance Monthly coaching that I do. And this is one of the Q&A questions that came in for the month of June. And it applies to finding more flow no matter what work you do and how much fulfillment you currently get out of it. So let's jump into that clip right now. So the question is, how do you get more out of a job that you particularly don't like? So, and in terms of more, I believe meaning sort of more happiness or finding things that you can actually get some enjoyment out of, even if you find that your job's a drag, it's sort of a bummer and not what you exactly want to do with your life. Now, in terms of the key components of peak performance, and I don't particularly think that it's necessary to have, complete joy in the work that we do and perform at a peak level. That's kind of, as peak performers and people that are driven to growth and progress, we owe it upon ourselves, and we often feel the desire and the need to rise to the occasion anyway, that even if it's something that we don't particularly like to do, we've got to have that grit to push through it and strive. And I think something that we will do, and I've got a new video series coming out, or at least a training on kind of the balance wheel of life and the different aspects. We don't necessarily have to find our flow in work. If you look at Cal Newport's work, he talks about in his first big hit book, So Good They Can't Ignore You, that passion doesn't have to be part of the equation in the work that we do. It's more about being world-class, proficient at it, and really being so good that they can't ignore you. Becoming excellent at the work does not necessarily mean that you have to derive all of your fulfillment out of it. I do believe that it is a good thing, and at least personally, I'm biased towards thinking that we ought to pursue things that we are passionate about, at least to some extent. But I also believe that flow can lead us into more passion as well. So another thing that is a strategy you can wrap around with this idea of jobs that you don't particularly like, or maybe you don't see yourself doing long term, is think about, Csikszentmihalyi, when he was doing research on flow, he wasn't so interested in the athletes in action and adventure sports like Steven Kotler was. And he wasn't necessarily, he did study the musicians and the artists that were doing amazing things like jazz music, but he was on the assembly lines I believe in Detroit, and he was also over in different countries in Europe looking at sheep herders and studying people that live very simple lives that, sometimes are things where you just have to make ends meet, or sometimes they're the jobs and the life that you have just been led into because you were born on a farm in a country in Europe, and it was passed down through generations that you were meant to raise the sheep and live on the farm. And so he actually found that people flow in all different sorts of areas of life and in different career paths, in different business. And so it's not necessarily about that fulfillment, and it's not necessarily about that passion part of the equation that leads into flow as much as those other conditions for flow. And so there's always the opportunity to try to push your skill to that top edge of the channel, the flow channel, and kind of always push the edge of doing a little bit better than what you did before. And that's what he saw with a lot of these assembly line workers, was they would try to do the job a little bit quicker or a little more accurately each and every time. And they had the most level of appreciation and sometimes fulfillment too, was a word that was used a lot in terms of their career, even though it wasn't something they were particularly passionate about. So keep that in mind. And also remember that flow does not necessarily equate with happiness in the moment. It's more about being fully immersed and enmeshed in that present moment. So another thing that's useful in terms of maybe not getting as much enjoyment out of work is work on that meditation component, work on the mindset and the mental toughness and the mindfulness to become more present. Use those other conditions of flow to help you drive yourself further into flow in those states that are not necessarily your top passions or what you want to do. Because I think, once again, that always will carry over into other areas of our life. And the more that we flow, the more that we grow in other areas. So you can definitely work your way through, different career paths or up the ladder, wherever you want to go with it, by being really top-notch, world-class through flow and through performing your best in those instances. Thank you for watching the video. If you like this content, you're definitely going to love the Peak Performance Monthly Coaching Program. So you can click the link in the description down below and check out more information about the Peak Performance Monthly Coaching. And also, if you want to watch more videos around flow and topics like this, there's more videos here that you can check out. And of course, as always, until next time, dream on and find your flow.